I want to play a clip for you by Chris Matthews.
Mm.
I am
Who once hit on my wife.
I'm fascinated by this clip because Chris Matthews doesn't seem to understand that it is not a dichotomy. Like, meaning it's not zero sum. It's not one or the other. Either you love and hate Trump or you love and hate the Democrats, and that you can't do them both equally. That you can say, I hate both.
Yeah.
Both are trash. Both are horrible. Because he's looking at the polling and he's showing, okay, well, Donald Trump is getting trashed in the polling. He's dropping significantly in the way that people are seeing him on issue after issue after issue. And he's saying, yeah, but...
And by the way, Jamal, just you wait this week. This week, all hell's going to break loose in New York City, I think, with the ice flooding the zone and the protests are starting. That's going to tank. That's going to not help him on deportations either.
Which makes my point, right? Like, Eric Adams is allowing that, from my understanding. Correct?
Yeah, Oh, he totally is. He in exchange for not enforcing New York City's sanctuary city law, he got all of his charges dismissed, his corruption charges dismissed against him. And then he's getting sued anyway by the DOJ, by Trump.
Is he?
Yeah,
I didn't realize he was getting sued.
Trump's suing him and the city of New York for having a sanctuary law. So it's not enough. This is the thing about Trump. You give him an inch, he takes a mile. It's like, okay, I won't enforce the law. Okay, thank you. That's not good enough. Now get rid of the law.
This is Chris Matthews. Chris Matthews, that's amazing. Chris Matthews is befuddled. And I want to get your take on this clip. Let me pull it up.
And he's got it. To be honest with you, the country is moving towards Trump. These polls that come out and show him not doing well, I don't buy that. I think his strength is still greater than the Democratic strength. He is a stronger public figure than the Democratic people. I mean, Obama still has tremendous charisma, but Trump has strength. And I think that's what all voters look for. But they want a president who is a strong figure. And he's got it. And he can, it's just there. And half the country buys it. That's what I think.
So he is thinking, okay, Ted, I know I actually turned your mic up. Could you turn it down just a little bit? There's a static that's coming through. Jesus, I'm so sorry.
You know what it is? I'm going to turn it off. It's my fan. I'm dying here. We're in week 5 of a heat wave here. I'm going to turn it down.
Are you? No, I don't want you to turn your fan off. I don't want you to suffer. Ted is in his underwear. I don't want you to suffer. No, I don't want you to suffer.
That's going to help.
Okay, I don't want you to suffer.
That's all right.
Give me your take on that. I mean, he seemed to be stuck in this political dichotomy of Trump is strong. I think the Democrats are getting it wrong. I think he's stronger than the Democrats. Okay, you can be, let's say, on a scale of 100, 35, and the other guy is at 20. That means both of you are hated.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's obviously the situation, right? I mean, we already know, and the establishment just won't accept this reality, right? But basically, there are 3 major political parties in the United States: the D's, the R's, and the non-voters.
Yes.
And the non-voters are not. We've long thought. Well, I haven't thought this, but the take has always been, these are lazy, stupid people who can't be bothered to get off their asses and go and exercise their patriotic franchise that men and women of the armed forces lived and died for. No, that's not the case. They're not voting for the D's and the R's because they don't like the D's and the R's. Probably there's some lazy shits in there too, but mostly it's people who hate the D's and the R's. And some of those people, they like, okay, I'm going to go cast a protest vote that I know will amount to nothing for the Greens or the Libertarians or whoever, but they don't vote. Now, we've proven that can change. Bernie Sanders brought a lot of those people along. Donald Trump brought a lot of those people into the GOP and took over the GOP with those people. So we know they exist. We know they'll vote if properly motivated, but still the pretense is, it's a zero-sum game. A win for the Republicans is a loss for the Democrats, and vice versa. Not necessarily. I mean, look, Donald Trump has a his position on deportations and immigration, which should have been his strength, really truly, is it's all interesting here, right? Because people do favor that point of view. They don't like the execution. They want the deportations. Like if Trump really had prioritized, bad hombres, people who have committed serious crimes, rapists, murderers, and so on, nobody, including me, would really have much of a problem with that. Like, bye. But like he didn't do that. And so the execution has been foul because, Trump isn't really like, a manager, right? He's not. And so he didn't tell them like, listen, how you do it is as important as what you do. So he's getting eaten alive in the polls. But like, look at immigration on its own. That doesn't mean that people want to go back to the Biden era of open borders and whoever wants to come here can show up. It doesn't mean the Democrats have established a narrative at all, much less one that's popular with the public. On immigration, Democrats are still they're not getting the advantage because they haven't proffered on this and really every other issue. They haven't proffered an alternative at all, much less one that's popular, right? They haven't said like, if we were in, we would do X, Y, Z. Mm-hmm. So, and that X, Y, Z would need to be, to catch fire with the public, but they haven't articulated it. And I guess they just they're waiting for Trump to just fuck up. So far, Trump has really mainly fucked up from Epstein.
Yes.
But it's not enough to get the Democrats where they need to be. Not to mention, man, Trump's people are too clever by half. Like, we were going to lose the House next year. We'll sleaze around in Texas and do some redistricting and get 5 seats that way. Maybe that'll keep control of the House. And it might work. Probably will work. So it's just, you're right. I mean, the Democrats are in real trouble. And it's not, they do have to have their own. You are a major political party. You were founded in 1824 by Andrew Jackson. You should know, from 200 years of history, you have to have your own platform. And you have to articulate that platform and sell it to the people. They seem to think they don't have to do that anymore.
No, it's weird. It's very weird. I mean, part of it is you don't represent anything, you don't stand for anything, so nobody cares. And that they believe, I think they've gotten so wrapped up in Trump that it's almost like they crossed the hurdle. Like the ability to articulate this, what we do, this, what we do. And once you go so long without believing in anything, it's simply vessel. And it's kind of hard.
Jamal, it's my turn to complain about your sound. You're a little bit wobbly.
I'm wobbly. Oh, hold on. One second. Okay, I'm going to put this on auto, and I'm going to do this. Okay.
That's better.
If you are a political party that has gone so long without representing anything, and in the context of not representing anything, a man like Trump comes along, and you lay it all on the line where your entire beingness is about Donald Trump, and then you lose. And, it's like going back to, hey, we need to represent something. We need to believe in something. We need to push for something. Okay, well, that's hard, especially considering.
Yeah, so much work.
Yeah, that's so much work. And we get so much money not to do that. It's better for us to be amoral, empty vessels. Yeah, but you can't get elected like that.
Yeah, not more than once or twice. Yeah, I mean, there's 2 main flaws with the Democratic strategy. First of all is when you make your entire ideology about your strategies all about opposition to someone or something else, you empower that something else, because you're essentially, all publicity is good publicity, and you're doing publicity for your enemy. You're helping him when literally Donald Trump just wants you to talk about Donald Trump. Well, if the Democrats are talking about Donald Trump too, he's like, yeah, like that's his biggest problem is when people aren't talking about him, and you're just feeding into him, right? He's like that episode of original Star Trek series with the hate monster, right? You're feeding into it, right? But also, the other problem is just like, it's kind of like, okay, but what are you doing? Are you fighting back? Do you have a history of fighting back? The Democrats always compare Trump to Hitler, right? Well, how did Hitler win in 1937 after a bunch of elections where he slowly built up his up to a plurality that brought him to power in 1933. Well, the mainstream parliamentary parties were perceived as not having fought hard enough for the interest of the average German worker. And this was true for the bourgeois conservative parties as well as the SPD and the KPD, the communist and the socialist parties. And so they weren't militant enough, right? And so we were in that was a time of economic crisis, and that led to polarization and extremism. And so there was really, it was time for Hitler's opposition to oppose an extremist with extremist policies from the left that would have countered the extremist right-wing policies. Here, again, it's that time. You know, we hear ridiculous talk like Democrats need to move to the center. Well, I mean, they're already a center-right party, but I don't know, but that's not going to work. It might work like during Clintonism worked during the mid-90s because it was the biggest economic expansion in U.S. history. People generally felt better each year than they had felt the year before between 1992 and 2000. That is not true now. And people have been feeling worse and worse and worse, really ever since Bill Clinton left office. And they're pissed off. So they're looking for, I always say extreme problems require extreme solutions. We have extreme problems, massive income disparity, etc. And the American people are looking for a party that's not going to say like, if you're like $1 short, the Democrats are saying, hey, how about a dime? It's like, well, that's not going to work. Republicans are like, they're just all over the place and flailing. They would be exposed. They would be a permanent minority party. The Democrats got their act together now, but it could happen. I mean, it's the history of the Republic is long, but it doesn't appear to be imminent because no one's in charge of the ship. It's rudderless.
I want to go back to New York for a moment. You're pointing out that New York is going to effectively explode this week.
Probably. I mean, nobody knows, but I mean, it's a long, hot summer. I mean, it's been 5 weeks, temperatures in the 90s, humid every day, like real feel like 109 a couple days ago. I mean, and people are surly after 3-4 years post-COVID, and nothing's really reopened. All the stores are closed. Things are scuzzy. Things are scuzzy and skeevy. The rents keep going up. So people are surly. They're in a bad mood. And now ICE is coming. You remember that line from, Humphrey Bogart's character in Casablanca in 1942, where he's talking to the Nazi officer. And he says, Major, there are some parts of New York City I would advise you not to invade. And it's like, and that's still true, because those parts are the parts that ICE is going to go to. They're not coming to my neighborhood. I mean, we have plenty of immigrants in my neighborhood, but they're going to go out to Queens and Brooklyn and Staten Island and the Bronx, and they're going to go to minority neighborhoods, and they're going to scoop up everyone who's a little taupe, whether they're a U.S. citizen or not. And and New Yorkers don't play. I mean, already activists are ready. They've been studying what the Angelenos have been doing, which is they have like basically community defenses there where, all sorts of people follow ICE around like in their cars. They call and they tweet out like, oh, they're on this street. Now they're on that street. I mean, we're going to be doing that here too. Heads up to the Angelenos. You guys rock. And we're going to be doing that here too. And it's going to be, there's going to be violence because we don't want to see our friends and our neighbors and our colleagues dragged off kicking and screaming into the night.
Had they put out signs for protests, put out messages, those type of things?
Oh yeah. No, there's protests beginning. The protests are beginning today. The ICE sweeps are supposed to begin today, and there's already a City Hall Park protest scheduled for tonight, 6 p.m. And there's one down at ICE HQ, DHS HQ downtown that's beginning within minutes. So. I think it's going to be an ongoing thing. I mean, it's impossible to know how it'll play out, and maybe it'll be a it'll fizzle, but I don't think so.
How does the NYPD deal with this, by the way? Do they get involved?
Well, they've obviously been asked to support ICE and DHS, but I think, this is a very high minority percentage, police department. There's a lot of people of color in the NYPD. So, and it's not like, so I think it's going to be, they're really between a rock and a hard place. I would imagine that it's going to depend precinct by precinct who, whether the commanding officer the chief in that precinct sends out their officers to help at all, or to help enthusiastically, or to help dutifully. I suspect mostly you're going to see dutiful assistance, where it's sort of like, hey, if someone were to violently assault a DHS person, the cops, they will come, and assist, but they're not going to be helping the roundups. I mean, there's no way. I mean, I don't see it. I mean, not in any meaningful way. The LAPD was much the same way, and that's a far more right-wing department than the NYPD.
Well, in LA, they were, like you said, massive protests. I mean, they were going after the DHS cops who were effectively. I mean, because those guys were coming in.
Well, one was just shot here last week.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, preemptively, basically.
They're coming in
like an assassination
with face coverings, knocking down doors, snatching Americans in some cases.
Yeah, including veterans.
Yeah, I mean, just outrageous stuff. It's like, what do you expect? I don't even know who you are, man.
Right.
And you're, acting this way, and you're dealing with a country.
Listen, if you approach me, I mean, let me put it this way: if I'm on a jury, and someone's charged with shooting an ICE officer, and they can credibly say, they didn't identify themselves, their face was covered, they didn't have a badge, they didn't have a business card, nothing, and they tried to kidnap me and I shot them, they're walking from jury with Ted RalL on the jury. No question.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. 1,000% agreed. I mean, you can't pull a mess like that. I mean, they're functioning as cops for all intents and purposes, and yet they're not cops.
Yeah, you know what they are? This is like, we see this in the developing world. We see this in other countries, right? These are paramilitaries, is what they are.
Yes.
They're not real cops. They're not real soldiers. You can write police on your little vest that you bought on eBay, which is really literally, that's not even like a uniform. They buy their own crap, like any of us can buy it. I mean, Jamal, you and I can dress up like ICE guys, go out and kidnap people tonight. I mean, seriously, who's going to stop us? And there's already been credible cases of impersonation used to rape and kidnap people. So it's just going to get worse and worse. And migrants aren't going to show up to court anymore. They shouldn't. Really, I would never go to an ICE office.
Well, I suppose we will see how New York responds. And wow, the fact that Eric Adams is running again after allowing
with his 9% approval rating.
Yeah, which is going to go less and less. The more these raids take place, the more these people that get kidnapped, the more protests that takes place in New York over this. I hope there are massive protests over this. I mean, it's
there
outrageous.
Should be.
Yeah,
there should
the stuff
be.
that they were doing in California was outrageous. I mean, this is like as you point out, a paramilitary run by the president. This kind of Gestapo-esque force that is knocking down doors.
They're goons.
Yeah. Ted, always appreciate you, man. I always
you,
do. Ted RalL, political cartoonist, syndicated columnist. You can catch him on his show, TMI, on YouTube. That takes place at 10 a.m. He takes place now. Ted.
That's right.
You're awesome. Have a good one. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Please tell me when I do that.
Nah, it's cool. I'm good. All I got to do is hit a button. Okay.
Have a good one, man. Be safe.
Right.
Thank you. All right. You guys, we have come to the end.